Welcome in everyone to another episode of VoiceOverVoices.biz. I'm your host, Earl Hall. We're here for the brand new, the up and coming voiceover artist that is really looking to demystify and know exactly how to start, build, and grow a successful voiceover business. We talk to brand new voiceover artists all over the country, all over the world, so that we can get a real in-depth perspective of what the folks on the ground are going through right now. I've got a very special guest with me today. Tia Marie Beverly is with me here. Welcome into the program, Tia. Thanks so much for being here with me today.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you are more than welcome, and the pleasure is definitely all mine. I'm just trying to add you in here. There we go. Now we got you on screen. Always good as I think you might need to move a little bit to your, yeah, there you go. Now you're in shot there. Well, you went out of shot again.
Okay, wait a minute.
There you are. Now
There
you're
we go.
perfect. Perfect, right there. We should have done this in the pre-show, right? But anyway, Tia is, I think you're in one of my courses now too, I think. Kind of going through some things. So I think, is it the free course that you're going through?
I actually signed up for the mastermind group.
You signed up for the mastermind group. Well, what has that been like for you over the past couple of days, just kind of going through that? How have you enjoyed that so far?
Well, I've only had one group session, but
Okay.
it's amazing so far. You really speak from mindset, which is awesome. So
Hmm.
it's really helped me kind of, I guess, get in the right mindset for VO.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Well, tell me, Tia, how long have you been in this voiceover industry, and kind of what made you get into it? Kind of tell us a little bit of your story here.
Well, I officially, I guess, got interested maybe about a year ago
Hmm.
and started getting into it seriously maybe around May. Um, to kind of backtrack a little, I had a baby in 2019. I actually come from an acting
Congratulations.
background.
Okay.
Thank you. I come from an acting background. So that's what I was doing prior to voiceover. And I had her in 2019, said I would take a year off and wait to do acting stuff. 2020 came around and started getting to acting a little more, did two jobs, and then the pandemic hit. So with
Boom.
that,
COVID
everything got shut
19.
down. Yeah, everything got shut down. So the plus with that is I got to take classes and workshops with different acting coaches, which is how I came about voiceover. I had one for acting and they said, "Hey, do you do voiceover?" Never really thought about it before, but that made me take a little interest. And I'm like, well, let me jump into it and do some research. And that's how I got here.
Well, when you talk about, doing the research and all that stuff and the interest that you have and kind of the start with that, how far have you gotten into the journey? Like, where are we with like gear, things of that nature? Have you started purchasing things like that to kind of develop out like a home studio, or where are you at in that journey right now?
Yeah, when I first started, I was actually gifted a Feedfine USB mic. Had never
Hmm.
heard of it before. And in doing research, I was like, well, hey, I need to get an XLR mic or condenser mic, something non-USB.
Okay.
So I did a research with that. I've been taking voiceover coaching, and I had a coach that said, "Hey, check out the Audio Technica 2035," because I was actually looking
Mm.
at the 2020 doing my research, and a lot of people said that was good. So I went on YouTube and did some research for it to kind of
YouTube
test it out that
University.
way. Yeah, because you can't really go into the stores to test it out like you used to. So that
Yeah.
was the only way I had to see if it would fit me. And because of the brightness of my voice, the AT 2035 was better for me than the AT 2020. So that's what I went with.
And how long have you actually been using the AT 2035? How long has that been for you?
Since about May, June, I guess,
Oh, okay, real
around the
recent
time.
then.
Yeah.
Okay. All
hmm
right, great. So I know you've got the XLR microphone. How did you go about selecting your audio interface? Which one of those are you using?
Well, I had the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2.
Yes.
Again, YouTube and researching that. Of course, I wanted to keep it lower end right now because,
Mhm.
starting out, don't want to splurge
Oh,
too
don't
much
even
on
go there
something
with
that
me
I'm
on the lower
probably not going
end. I mean, the lower end, as far as that focus, right? You can use that your entire career, right? It's like,
to.
and I know you've heard me say the most important thing is all about your recording environment. It's like,
Hmm.
where are you recording? It's like obviously where you are right now, that's not an ideal recording space, right? We've got hard, flat surfaces all over the place, with that. So tell
Hmm.
us about the recording space that you're using.
Well, this is not my recording space.
Hmm.
It is pretty open, what I normally use. I actually have a little pillow set up. I'm trying to do the
Mm.
research of getting the measurements of getting my, I guess, PVC piping and the moving blankets.
Love it.
Um, so I'm trying to research that and how to fit that in my actual space. But right now,
Hmm.
I just have two pillows. I clip the top of them together, I clip the back of them, and that's pretty much what I've been using. And it's gotten me some work. Right now, I'm on the pay
Yeah.
to play site,
Uh-huh.
voices.com. So that's pretty much where I am doing my auditions, most of my auditions. I've been shortlisted a lot of times, maybe like 20
Hmm.
something times, which I
Hmm.
think is pretty good. I booked two jobs from there, which is
From
awesome,
from
being a
where?
newer
Book two
voiceover
jobs from where?
from voices.com. From
See,
voices.com.
yeah, that's amazing. I want to back up here just a little bit because what you were talking about
Hmm.
with your recording space, people poo poo on what so many of us call the hobo forts, right? They poo poo on them like they don't work, like you can't get work with that. But obviously, you're getting work with what we call a hobo fort. You talked about the PVC pipes, and I know you're going to put, the moving blankets and all that stuff over there to kind of deaden that space because that's all that's important is having a dead space is what we actually call it in the industry, a dead space to record so that your voice isn't bouncing all over the place. And what I am so impressed with about you is that you have not let not having the best of the best stop you from moving forward. This is what I
Definitely
am impressed
not.
with because Tia, so many people do that. They let well, I don't have a Norman TLM 103, or I don't have a Sennheiser MKH 416. I don't have a universal audio interface, which is everything I just listed is over $1,000, right? Each. I don't have a $6,000 to $10,000 whisper room. And people think they need all this. How did you get beyond that? How did you not let any of that stop you?
Well, it's not in my budget for one, and I have to start. I have to start somewhere. So again, researching what is going to work for me in my budget right now, where I can actually make work to eventually get to the space where I can get the whisper room and the Sennheiser or the Neumann
Mm-hmm.
microphones. Right now, I'm in the mid section, I guess, not the completely low budget, but the middle range of the type of mic that I have, the interface probably maybe lower end, mid end, but like you said, it works for a lot of people. It works for a lot of professional people that have been in the industry a long time and are doing amazing work.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
That's awesome. That is, I mean, I love that. I love your energy. I love the spunk that you have and everything like that. I mean, with what it is that you've been able to accomplish and do so far, it's like, well, I'm going to ask you this question because people are going to wonder how in the world you got a job on voices.com. It's like, that is like seems to be the hardest thing in the world to do, but you started in May, boom, got two jobs out of the gate, no high end equipment, the bare bones, the hobo fort. What happened? How did this occur?
I am just consistent with it, which is extremely hard. Having a
Mm,
2-year-old now, I work an evening shift, so I'm usually staying up between 12 and 3 o'clock in the morning to submit these auditions because
hmm.
that's the time that I have for it. And when it's
Yeah,
actually quieter, I guess, in my neighborhood, because even though I have my little pillow fort, you still have dogs, lawnmowers, just people outside, cars,
yeah,
all that. So, yeah, I'm really hungry for this and I want this to be my career. So
yeah,
I need to push forward and make those sacrifices of losing sleep sometimes and just
yes.
doing what I have to do to get to where I want to be.
Absolutely. That is literally what it's going to take. I know you've seen my mantra all over the place, grind and don't quit, the little hashtag I use all the time. And it's like that's been my mantra since the beginning of this whole thing that I started, oh gosh, decade ago, in voiceover. Do you have like a genre that you try and stick to, or is it like right now you're trying to find where you fit? Kind of talk to us about that a bit.
I'm still trying to find where I fit. Of course, commercial. I've been told I have the voice for commercial,
Hmm.
and I'm learning, which I never thought before, that I could do animation and character work.
Hmm.
Having a 2-year-old actually helps with that because when I'm reading her books, I make all these character voices, and I never
Yes.
thought, I could make a living doing that. And thinking about it, it's like, wait a minute, I do this for her all the time. I could actually be successful in this. And the first job that I was booked for was actually for a video game.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. That is just amazing that these types of things are already happening with and to you. It's inspiring to me. I'm sure it's inspiring to the folks that are listening right now. Just even kind of finishing up here, the last question I always ask people is if there's something I can help with, if there's anything you could ask me about voiceover, what would that be and how could I help?
So that's a loaded question because I am full of full of questions of how to make this work and what to do. But
Hmm.
the ultimate goal is I want to be able to do this and still have time for my family. I want this
Hmm.
to be my full-time job, my career.
Hmm.
So I know everybody's journey is different, and I know that you can't rush things and it's not going to be overnight. That being said, what would be, I guess, the quickest or best way to go about, or the way to start to get to where I need to get to as soon as I can get there, or in a
Okay.
quicker manner, if that makes
Awesome.
sense?
Yes, it does. And that's a great question because I know that everyone wants to know the quickest, like, how do I get there tomorrow? But the serious answer to all of that is the quickest way to get there. And I'm so glad you are where you are right now. You've gotten some work, you've gotten paid, you've kind of got your feet all the way in the water. And now it's time to dive in. And what I mean by that is what is working for you right now? Double down on it, whatever the kind of work you're getting. And I always have a tendency to say the market will tell you what they want from you based on what you're getting paid for. Those things that you're getting paid for, narrow your focus to only that, because in that you build a resume and become known as an expert in a certain genre, in a certain niche. Double down on what's working. If what's working is voices.com for you, go all in on voices.com. Pay whatever you need to pay. Voices.com. That is the honest answer. And I know it can get expensive, but when you go in and play all in on any platform, I don't care if it's voices.com, voices123, Fiverr, Upwork, it doesn't matter what it is. Go all in on where you've already started getting work from, because now you start to get known. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, it's almost like put some blinders on. Don't try and look every other day on YouTube trying to think what's the next tip or trick I can get. No, because then you're going to forget what you already got. It's like focus, seriously focus. And you've had such quick wins in such a short amount of time that you actually have some things that you can focus in on, and that's what I would do.
Okay.
All right. Well, hey, I want to thank you, Tia, so much for being here with us today, sharing your journey, sharing your experience with us and voiceover artists all over the world, because I know this has been impactful for them. I always learn too. Whenever I do these interviews, I learn as much, it seems, as everybody else learns. And you guys keep me sharp because I got to have those answers ready for you, right? When you're asking those questions. So I just want to thank you for being here with me today, Tia. I definitely appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, and I want to thank all of you for tuning in today to voiceovervoices.biz. Make sure you do check out the website, voiceovervoices.biz. Book your interview with me today. It doesn't matter where you are in your voiceover journey. You have something to talk about that we want to know about, and I want to bring that out, give you some more exposure for what it is that you're doing as well. So go ahead to voiceovervoices.biz, book your interview with me, and be on camera with me just like Tia. Until next time, I'll see you then. You take care.